Hello, Andrew. Thank you for joining us on our NextGen Infra.io channel. It's good to see you. From this year's OFC in San Diego a few weeks ago, we know that quantum technologies were clearly in the spotlight this year and is certainly gaining traction. Could you give us an update on where BT stands today in quantum?
Sure. In the last year, a year ago, we just started to develop a commercial quantum service in London. So the last year has really been about building on that. We've, in particular, got a customer, HSBC, the large global bank, who are using the service, and uh, particularly interconnecting into data centers, into the Equinix data center in Slough in the UK. So we've been able to work with a very, very good customer, to be honest, very quantum friendly, if you like. So you get a load of customers that are kind of have different levels of interest. Some are just kind of dipping their toe in the water, and you have HSBC who have their own quantum team, who they've recruited, who are really kind of at the forefront, and so it's great to work with them. So that's certainly from the commercial side. You know, we're developing up the business case for quantum, working with customers to find out what cases they would have, and of course, in the background, we continue to do research in the longer term about quantum networks, entanglement, working on quantum computing, etc. I think the one other thing I would say is what we need to do is to assure and accredit quantum technology. So we need to take a quantum box and find a way to put a stamp on it to say this is good. This is good to go. This does what it says it does, and that's not that trivial because quantum is not that well understood. So I can't just lift the lid and say, oh yeah, clearly that box is doing what it should, because this is a very new technology. So what we're doing there is we're um, working on a project within the UK ecosystem to design and develop an assurance process for quantum technology, so that we can get to a point where quantum can be standardized and stamped and assured, and we can say this box made by vendor A is good to go and does what it says.
At this stage of the development, how are enterprises such as the one you mentioned, HSBC, going about building a quantum implementation or project? Do they search go? Do they first go out and find a QKD supplier and then they integrate it with their optical transport and find their own dark fiber, or is there sort of a soup to nuts solution for them?
So the way this has worked is that BT have provided the entire optical infrastructure, um, that including the dark fiber into the HSBC's premises in Canary Wharf in London. Then the quantum equipment on top with Toshiba, who are providing our QKD equipment. Then working with Adtran, our optical access vendor. So we've provided that as a complete solution. And then what HSBC have done is taken that optical layer up to the point of Ethernet and developed their own protocols on top. So they've looked at their own use cases and they have their own development team who have put their own bank related oriented use cases such as financial trading, um, uh, uh, data center backup type protocols, and they themselves have developed those and put them on top of our quantum secured Ethernet structure.
And we know that there's a number of quantum communication projects being funded by governments, whether the EU, the US, or the British government. Could you perhaps highlight some of the major projects that are underway that are relevant for BT?
Yeah, there are a lot, and in the UK particularly, um, we are involved in several, but the two that are really exciting. One is around the whole idea of assurance that I've already talked about. So it's a project that seeks, as I said before, to stand up and to accredit and assure quantum equipment. Another one is around the detection of people trying to tap quantum networks, and a lot of the attraction of a quantum oriented network is it's impossible to tap, or at least it should be. because you're tapping into a qubit, a single photon, and just the nature of tapping into it changes it, and so that should be detectable. So what we're doing in this collaboration with a company called EGIC in the UK is to build a tap detector. So it's to say if someone comes along and tries to hack into my quantum system, I actually have quantum information I can use to build a tap detector. We also have a company called OLC, Open Lightcom, who are doing all of the software development around that. So this ultimately would be a box that sits on its own independently of any specific quantum system and just sits there monitoring anybody trying to tap in, but monitoring not just at the optical fiber level, but actually at the quantum level to see if someone is trying to do anything literally to detect single photons.
We hear a lot about this post quantum threat that's out there. And so I'd like to hear your perspective on how urgent it is.
I mean, the urgency depends on the use case, I think, and there will be um, situations, but particularly with for example, banks where information that is hacked into now, but not decrypted for several years is still a problem, and it's that's the issue that we're facing with some use cases. So not all use cases fit into that category, and some use cases will be that's not such an issue. But I think for the high security applications, that there is an urgency. Now we are fortunate that the post quantum cryptography endeavor is making a lot of progress, and we see NIST close to ratifying a PQC protocols. So we will have in any case an algorithmic solution to this, although that still has to um, turn into products and be developed into actual solutions, which could take a while. So there's no point in hanging around. Both the PQC world and the QKD world have to crack on with this because even now there are use cases that need it. Um, in the longer term, I think you can see it becoming more widespread, but certainly for the moment, we do have some critical use cases that could take advantage of it. And then the final thing I think I'd say would be around the global connectivity aspect. So we will expect to see within a couple of years satellite-based QKD solutions, which then provides a whole new opportunity for QKD because it allows you not just to go around London, but to actually interconnect London sites with, HSBC's other sites around the world, for example, which then gives it a lot more capability.
So it is clear that we are in this period of rapid innovation. So thank you very much for sharing all of
Okay,
these
thank you. That's good.
developments.
Cheers.